See that RV over there? My friend Sara is in there working away at her job while still here enjoying Skoolipalooza with all of her friends. One of the primary hurdles I've seen a lot of people face in pursuing their van life dream is how to make money on the road. Cars, trucks, RVs, and vans need maintenance, care, upkeep, and fuel. And you have to eat still. Now, you don't have to have a location independent job to start van life. You could just limit your van life by the fact that you still have a location based job. But let's be honest, most people don't want to do that. They feel like that would take away the independence that they are seeking through van life. The other option besides digital work is seasonal or contractual labor work. Two common ones that fill this space for many nomads is the Amazon camper force and the sugar beet harvest. Another popular job among nomads is camp hosting. In all cases, you basically give up a few months of your life to one of these jobs, and then you bank all that money and you use that to travel for the rest of the year. And that's why what many people dream of is a full-time job they can do via a computer anywhere in the world. It takes away the restrictions of the previous two options. The thing about these dream remote jobs, though, is that not all of these jobs are created equal. Some require specific skill sets. Some are harder to do without full access to a home internet connection and a home office. And even some remote jobs require an actual verified at-home office for you to even get them. In addition to that, there are also many work-from-home scams out there. They make lofty promises about work freedom that they can't deliver on. And when they aren't scams, they are very, very low pay and hard to live on. Sarah's found what some would consider the ideal situation. She has a salary work-from-home job that she can do on the road. Since she's accomplished what so many people are trying to accomplish, I thought we'd pop in and talk to her about how she got her digital job and what working anywhere from your computer is truly like.
Hey everybody, so I am sitting here with Sara and we are hanging out at Skoolipalooza, though you're probably seeing this video long after Skoolipalooza is actually over. And Sara is right now living what some people would consider the dream. You actually have an online job that you work on the road from your RV. And a lot of people wonder how to find jobs on the road. But before we get there, can you talk a little bit about, like, you know, first getting on the road, if you had your job when you started, and if not, like, how did you find a direction to look in?
Yeah, for sure. So I did not have this job when I started on the road. We started on the road jobless. We quit our jobs and hopped in, and we had some savings and kind of just were trying to figure it out as we went, and then I really kind of hunkered down and like decided to look for a job. I needed remote work. So what I actually did was, many years ago, I had screenshot a TikTok because this is our new Google. So that had a listing of a bunch of remote work websites. So that's kind of where I went first. I looked up all those sites. Some of them were paid, so I didn't use those, and some of them were free, and just tried to see what was out there. You know, a lot of them, it's like engineering, design jobs. I don't have that skill set. My skill set is like, I went to school for stage management. I can coordinate and manage. Yeah. And so that's kind of what I was looking for. I was looking for jobs with that I could translate to a remote position.
All right. And so what websites did you use that you found not only to be legitimate but free? Because I think the thing about trying to find online work, and like that's everybody's fantasy, is they can just work from a laptop. The thing about trying to find online work is a lot of it is either very low pay, a scam,
Yes. Yes.
or requiring a specific skill set. And
Right.
And some of them are also low pay and a scam. So, number one, like, what websites did you find that were really useful to have helping you find your job?
Yeah, so I made a list here. So the ones that I did were I looked at Pangian, Pangian, and it's actually, you have to pay for it. So, but if you're okay with that, that could be a great resource. Skipthedrive.com, remote.co, remotive.io, Power to Fly, Let's Work Remotely, and also like the other sites, job sites, they have remote options. So like ZipRecruiter and Indeed, you can search for remote work on there as well. In terms of avoiding scams, I mean, you'll know the moment you get a reply, basically. I mean, if they're asking you to pay to apply, it's a scam. If they are asking you to fill out another application on another site that looks scammy, it's a scam. So you just have to use your best judgment. I was really looking for full-time career work, so it wasn't so much I wasn't kind of going into those so much happening at Skoolipalooza. Yeah. I wasn't so much looking for kind of like the gig works or the kind of like quote unquote work from home jobs. I was really looking for a career, something that I could pay the bills and then some. I want to put money away. I want to pay off some of my student debt. So that helped me in a way, because I wasn't looking for like, oh, just work, work 2 hours and get $500, but that's kind of how I went about it. And I did apply to a lot of scams, but you just have to kind of like evaluate the responses you receive and just eliminate those.
And from the time you started looking specifically, like seriously for remote work till the time you found your remote work job, like how long did it take?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Maybe a month, probably a good month. And that was like working at least 4 hours a day, sending resumes, and not even just sending resumes, but looking on those sites, seeing if anything popped up that looked like I could qualify for it.
So as far as the skill sets that people were looking for these jobs, they range from like administrative skills, which stage managers are strong in, by the way, to like very specific needs, like maybe like web programming or something like that. Like, what was your ability to find something that suited your needs versus feeling overwhelmed by a lot of jobs that didn't?
Yeah, I definitely was overwhelmed by most of the jobs that I found. I was like, I'm not an engineer. Like, I don't know if this is possible. But with the pandemic, telemedicine really kind of boomed. People couldn't go into the office or into doctors' offices, and it really became a great asset over the last couple of years. So I started finding a lot of admin positions for telemedicine companies that were going fully remote because of the pandemic. And I think it was probably a great moment to try and find remote work. There were quite a few administrative positions, entry-level administrative positions, that I felt somewhat or very qualified for, that I applied to. Not as many as engineering or design, like those were very prevalent, but maybe 2 a day, maybe, that were solid leads, maybe some that I didn't think that I really wanted to do, but that I could apply to and maybe get more information about.
All right, so you said you started out, you basically said bye to your job, you took your savings and you took it on the road. Yes. Would you advise that path, or would you advise no, while you still have your job? So like, what would be your advice to someone who's looking for that quote unquote perfect one-line job?
Yeah, don't do what we did. No. Please don't. No, I think we really jumped into it feet first, and we should have prepared better to go on the road with a remote position already in place. I think you just have all your resources. You have your internet, you have your electricity, you can plug in your laptop for all day, like using all the resources you have to do that and then you can work out the rest when you're on the road. I was trying to figure out internet. We were working on kind of like, you know, our little T-Mobile hotspot, and T-Mobile doesn't work great in most places. So I was getting hotspots from other companies as we were going along, you know, and trying to figure it out that way. Pretty hard, and also at a certain point we really needed work, so you don't want to get to kind of that quote-unquote desperate situation, right? So always, I think planning work before going on the road, super important.
And as far as like the realities of working on the road, like everybody has that fantasy that you're going to be on top of the mountaintop and you're going to have unlimited internet and you're just going to be working on your laptop with the doors open, and you know, we've all seen the Instagram pictures.
Yes.
Like as far as the realities of that, and like having the perspective of actually being a person who works from a computer from their RV on the road, like what advice do you have for people on preparing for that reality?
Yeah, depending on what kind of work it is, your results may vary. So in terms of like, we have a gorgeous view, nobody can see it here, but like this is what I'm looking at. We're kind of on top of a kind of a drop off, and there's a giant wash in front of us, and it's beautiful when we can see mountains, right? So that's my view in the RV, but I'm in the RV about, on average, 8 to 10 hours a day on my computer, on Zoom calls, things like that. So it's not like I work 5 hours and then can step out of the RV and have a party. So, you know, but I am able to step out of my RV at any point and get into nature and meet with friends and enjoy an amazing experience like Skoolipalooza. That's
like on your lunch break, you come and you hang with us.
Yes, exactly.
But you're also spending, you know, a work day in your rig working.
Yes, absolutely. You know, if I was remoting from my apartment, I'd be in there and I probably would never leave. So we can travel on the weekends. I get time off, paid time off, which is really nice. So we can explore just a little bit more. You know, you just utilize the time that you have to do the exploring, and then you buckle down and go to work if you need to.
Excellent. And like, as far as the realities of where you can park, because you need internet, you do need power, like how has that sort of affected your travel style?
Yeah, for sure. So before we got solar, we would try to boondock, but sometimes it just wasn't great. Our batteries weren't awesome, and we would have to run the generator twice a day for like 6 hours total. You know, not something we truly enjoyed. We would plug in a lot, but also that meant it had to be in a place that had internet, right? So now that we have solar, power is not an issue. That's not something we worry about. Internet will always be an issue.
Until Elon fixes it for us.
Yes, right. Starlink, yes. But it's all about redundancy. So we have T-Mobile on our phone. We have a Cricket hotspot with 100 gigs, and then we have a Verizon MiFi with 150 gigs. So depending on where we are, one will work better than the other, hopefully. Maybe they all work. You know, we were kind of concerned about coming here, but we're having great service.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Sara, for all your information. Obviously, I know there's like 1,000 questions people want to ask about sort of digital work on the road and the realities of it, because we do see the fantasy of it and everybody is chasing it. And for some people, that's why they do labor work, because they'll do labor work and then they're free to travel. And other people, they find a full-time job, and then you have a lot of securities with that full-time job that maybe somebody who does contractual work doesn't do. And it's all about the balance. So I really thank you, because like you rarely get to have us sit down with somebody who's actually doing digital work, and the only digital work out there, guys, is not YouTube. She's been around us YouTubers. We're crazy. It's not as glamorous on the backside as you might think.
I know all the secrets now.
I thank you for tuning in, and I thank you, Sara, for sitting down with me for this chat.
Of course. Thanks, Dawn. Bye.
we're gonna start the video, and obviously I'm gonna edit this, so it doesn't matter if we need to restart or you want to redo anything. Oh, I think we have the same temperature thing.
Yes. Squirrel. Yes.
Yeah, squirrel. I was like, and that's what I do when I park. I just put it's right there.
It's probably reading about 100 degrees because it should be in the shade, but yeah.
Yeah, whatever. I just need a measure of outside inside. It's
Yes,
good enough,
exactly.
especially early in the morning. I don't know
Right.
why all of this is on camera. It has nothing to do with the subject of the video.
Well, this is the other video we're doing about temperature gauges. So we have this gauge in there. You can't see it, but I'm pretending it's here. And then we all hang it outside on our mirror. So,
right.
you know.
Well, let me do my little intro.
Boom in the shot.
No,
Okay, cool.
because it's really close. So it pretty much is like me and Sarah
I was
and.
just gonna move if I was. I was like,
Another thank you to Sarah, and thank you all again for joining me for another video. I was really happy I got a chance to do this one because I know one of the biggest questions between some people and getting on the road is, what am I going to do for money once I get there? As usual, it's time for me to do the normal YouTube things and ask if you like this video to like it. And if you want to leave a comment, that would be awesome. And if you really like my channel, you can always subscribe. That helps me out as well. As always, a special thanks to my supporters on Patreon and YouTube memberships.